Pushed it up, grab the second one. He pushed the first card up, grabbed the second.
How many times have you been dealt a blackjack and wished that you'd bet more? Well, the difference between you and this guy is that you wish it, and he acts on it. Did you see it? This scam is called a press, and it's fooled many a dealer. Watch our expert mimic the move. The cheat begins by palming a chip. He then places the blackjack down with his right hand and spreads it apart with his left, dropping the chip on top of his original stack. Take another look. It's a hard scam to unmask. The eye in the sky catches the cheater's precise timing. The press is made as the dealer is distracted by other players. And now it's the casino's turn to press. Charges.
Not all crooks who walk into a casino are there to rip off the house. Some of them are there to take your money or your chips.
Can I get a hard stick, please?
Hard stick.
Thank you.
Chips are casino currency, and there can be thousands of pounds worth on the tables at any one time, making this a lucrative scam for our hustlers.
Around a craps table is a perfect opportunity to steal somebody's chips, because a craps table gets quite crowded. People usually use these rails to keep their chips. It's very animated. People are leaning back and forward, placing bets on the layout, taking bets off, getting paid off, reaching for the dice, throwing the dice. So this is a perfect little steal. I'm going to place a small bet, and I want to place it in the middle of the layout. So what I do is I lean forward, and I might even ask the dealer to the left or to the right, saying, can you place this one on a hard 8, please? Now, as I'm leaning forward to be helpful, my other hand just slides over and I just steal these chips from the person on my left. Those chips get hidden in my hand, they're right here, and I can put them either back on my rail, because it wouldn't be unnatural, I can just stick them in my pocket.
In the casino, we can see this sting in operation. Under the cover of placing a bet, Alex has stolen some chips. Here it is again. That's £50 worth of chips, easily pocketed.
Stealing off the rail is a classic way to take chips at a craps table, but a much more brazen way is to steal chips from the layout itself, from the craps table.
Back in the casino, Paul's placing a bet, and he's doubled his money before he even rolls the dice. But how?
Let's say someone's just made a bet. Now that's a hefty bet, there's a lot of money in there. Each one of those chips is worth, say, £100. I come up to the table, I want to make a bet too. I'm not going to bet quite so much. Instead, I'm going to bet about £20. I come down and I say I'm going to have £20 on the field. As I make that bet and leave the money there, I steal 2 chips from this player. So even if they win, they've lost out on £200 worth of betting. Now this particular steal has made some people an awful lot of money.
In the casino, we can see this scam play out. Another player has placed 4 chips on the table, and as Paul places his bet, he swipes the top 2 chips off their stack. Let's see that again. That's a result for Paul, and the banknotes mean the steal is hidden from the croupier and the other players.
In '73, one of the cleverest roulette gaming scams took place in France and involved a radio transmitter, a corrupt casino dealer, his own brother-in-law, and the downfall of the operation, his own beautiful sister. The dealer had created a radio transmitter that fit inside a pack of cigarettes. When the sister at the table over pushed the radio transmitter's button, the ball at the table would fall from its spin on the roulette wheel and land in a group of 6 possible numbers with an impressive 90% accuracy. Using this trick in just a week, the trio managed to score roughly $1 million. The scammer's downfall actually came after the casino's owner took a romantic interest in the sister, but she turned him down. And shortly thereafter, the owner began to notice her presence in a different light. In 2004, a trio of gamblers managed to take roughly $2.1 million US in a casino in London, utilizing sector-targeting laser technology. It is thought that the Ritz Roulette trio used laser scanners on their phones to determine the decaying orbit at the roulette table that predicted the numbers likely to win big. The trio was able to make calculations fast enough to place their bets before the ball made its final rotation. The gang was arrested, but since laser sector targeting isn't technically considered cheating, they were allowed to go with no charges. Incredibly, they did get to keep their money.
If we put a bet down here for Alex, then he's going to make a lot of money. If I can get it on a number that hits, we're going to make an awful lot of money. How do we do that? Let's imagine there are some bets down on number 32. We don't happen to have a bet on that number. But I'm ready with 2 of Alex's £100 chips underneath my stack. If I see that number comes up, just before the dealer can look over, I come over like this and lay these down and say, can I put a bet down now? It's a joke, but the dealer's going to make me take the chips away. Usually they don't have much of a sense of humor. But I only take my chips away, leaving these over here. Alex has got £200 on a 35-to-1 number, and he hasn't gone anywhere near it. And this is probably one of the most brilliant pass posting scams that has ever been invented.
Mr. D started out as a card shark, but when a friend showed him a simple device called a light wand, he decided it was time for a career change, and found he could make a living alone and in the shadows.
I would go off somewhere in a corner that wasn't under a lot of surveillance, because frankly it held the same amount of money whether it was in the middle of the floor or if it was off in a corner.
The light wand was like a killer app for cheating the slots. It was easy to make. A couple of batteries wired to a small pin light. All Mr. D had to do was put it in the coin tray and point the light into the payout chute. Casino consultant Jason England describes how this little device helped Mr. D beat the machine and clean it out.
It was switched on, and it blinded the electro-optical reader that was counting the coins as the coin rolled past this particular device. With the light up inside, the machine was blinded, and it could not tell how many coins were coming out.
Mr. D could have emptied any machine on one winning play. A payout of up to $500. Instead, he won $100 here, $200 there, nothing to draw attention. The craps table was the scene of one infamous scam that beat the house for thousands on one roll of the dice. 4 cheats worked as a team to pull this con off. The scammer's tools? A magnet hidden in a wheelchair and juiced dice.
Juiced dice are a regular set of dice where the spots are drilled a little deeper and a metallic alloy is implanted into the die. With juice dice, you want to win the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. On the crap game, you want the biggest payout, which happens to be 30-to-1 on both boxcars, which is 2 6s, and snake eyes, which is 2 aces.
The original juice dice scam involved 4 players and the coordination of a military operation. There was the shooter, also known as the dice mechanic.
The mechanic's role is to switch the dice in and out of the game. He's going to put the crooked dice into the game and then take them back out when the play is over.
There were 2 blockers, a man and a woman, positioned next to the dealers.
Blockers are the most important part of the team because they distract the dealer off the action for that split second.
The 4th teammate operated the magnet hidden in the base of his wheelchair.
He's the one placing the magnet under the table in order to control the dice, and he's the one that flips the switch.
Here's how they worked it. One of the blockers makes a big $2,000 bet on snake eyes. The last-minute wager diverts the dealer's attention for a split second. That's when the mechanic switches in the juiced dice. The dice are thrown. The blockers place late bets to distract the 2 dealers. And the magnet is switched on when the dice reach the end of the table. The result? Snake eyes and a $60,000 payout.
Now, all hell will break loose on the table. This person just won $60,000. The casino employees are not going to know what hit them. The trick in pulling this scam off is everybody working together as one.
2,000 on snake eyes.
The switcher has to be very proficient in getting the dice in. The blockers have to be very proficient in distracting everyone. And of course, the person in the wheelchair has to be proficient in his timing and making sure he hits the magnet at the right time.
Now all the mechanic has to do is switch back the casino dice before the next roll. The team leaves the table one at a time, and the casino doesn't even know it's been had.
Here you go, dealer's money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.